What's up guys, Ace here. Here's another card of the day, and today we have a multicolored card, Yurlok of Scorch Thrash. 1 black, red, and a green for a legendary creature, Vioshino Shaman with Vigilance. The player losing unspent mana causes that player to lose that much life. 1 and a tap, each player adds black, red, and green, and it's a 4/4. So, without being too extravagant in my wording, this essentially gives mana burn. The fact that this card is able to give mana burn is kind of cool. I think it's more nostalgic than perhaps good. However, there's a lot you can do with this card, in particular in these colors, especially with green. I think you can go infinite pretty easily, along with dealing infinite damage via your lock, which makes him a sort of decent win con in some sort of decks that aren't revolving around your opponents having a lot of instant speed removal spells. So with this card, I think it's generally okay, pretty good. I think in particular with like mid-power metas, this card's pretty good. Maybe even in battlecruiser metas, it might be pretty good. I think it starts to taper off, especially when you go to higher power metas where people are playing a lot more instances. However, this does change tremendously because not only are people playing higher amounts of instances, they're playing more colors. So you get a lot less like monocolored decks just because they're not as good as multicolored decks, of course, because everyone's playing like their original duels, they're playing all the shocks, they're playing all the fetches, right? So they can always play cards at instant speed because they want all that interaction. So that's why I think this card works really well in mid power and even, I guess, up to high power, really, if you want to go like make this a high power deck. High power all the way down to battlecruiser is probably the best for this card. I have played against it a few times. I've never played it for myself. This card can get pretty strong, especially if you're, like I said, you're not playing a instant speed deck that also has already generated enough like colorless mana along with colored mana. If you're not in these colors, this is going to be generally doing a lot of damage. 3 mana for this sort of effect is, it does tack on, especially if you're playing like a more stacksy version of your lock, which it's in pretty strong colors for like Punisher effects. It's going to add up a lot. And so I think this card is pretty decent and it belongs in those metas because of that. Generally, people aren't running too much interaction at the lower levels as well. So this just definitely adds up and you're in the colors to destroy a lot of the board and just rack a bunch of havoc. So this card is pretty decent. Although I'm really curious what you guys think about this card. I think this card is generally pretty good. Like I said, I think it's from battlecruiser to high power. If you really want to make a strong Yurlok deck, I think that's generally where you want to fit them. Where the higher powers are going to have more instant speed stuff, so they can take advantage of using all that mana that you're giving them. And people are also playing more colors more often, so it's not going to be like they can't cast these sort of spells, right? You can play Bolt, you can play Fatal Push, play all sorts of green stuff off of this sort of forgiving players mana. And even if you do go infinite in high powered metas, you can give the players a bunch of mana, but it's like they can just use all that mana for casting like a big blue sun zenith or something, right? So it's definitely costly to play at higher powers, but lower your power for this card, I think the better this card will be. But of course, let me know what you guys think about this card in the comments down below. I think it's generally pretty decent, but definitely curious to see what you guys think about it. But anyways, peace out and have a nice one.